transformer through our secondary into your house at 120 volts. Our power supply for this demonstration, we have a 120 volt generator on the other side of the bucket truck. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to backfeed this up to 120 volts into the transformer, and it works the other way to 7,600 volts on the top. So this is real, is exactly what we have out on the street. Today our volunteers, we have Pat Miter, Glenn Davis, very good dancer if you saw him dancing, Jason Lang, myself, Tom Owens. Notice the rubber gloves and sleeves these guys are wearing. They're tested up to 15,000 volts. The sticks are tested up to 100,000 volts. Without this equipment, they would not be within 10 feet of the energized power lines. This protects them from getting electrocuted. First, we'd like to talk about is animals. Animals can be a big problem to the utility business. We have squirrels, raccoons, large birds. They cause many outages. Remember, electricity is always looking for a path to ground. We'll now demonstrate how a squirrel becomes that path to ground, causing the lights to go out. So basically what we have is not a real squirrel, but this squirrel is going to roam around and it's going to wander into trouble up on top of the pole. Trailer hot? Our lineman is a little tired, he can't find the pole. If you have sensitive ears, close them. This is what happens when a squirrel comes into a ground with a hot conductor. Boom, that's an attention getter. Your lights would be out right now, and then we would come fix it. That's what happens when a squirrel gets up on top of a transformer, he's grounded, and then he touches a hot conductor. He becomes that path to ground, and then he does not live to see another day. Next, we'd like to talk about is a household glove. We're going to energize this fence to 7,600 volts to show that the glove adds no protection. With no protection, you would become a path to ground. We put a hot dog in the glove to act as your finger. Again, notice that these linemen are wearing thick rubber gloves that are tested, rated at 15,000 volts, the sleeves, and the insulated stick. Basically, this fence right now, we're going to energize to 7,600 volts, and Pat's going to touch it with his finger, of course, at the end of a stick for his protection. Trailer hot? Notice the arc that it draws. Mr. Davis is basically completing our circuit. These are kind of what we call light switches. Notice the arc that it draws when he touches the fence. Everybody, if you could look right here, we have a street light, trailer hot. We have a street light on the pole. It's lit right now. It's hard to see because it's during the daylight. We have the household light right there. Watch the lights when the ground becomes on the circuit. Watch what happens to your lights. This would happen if a tree fell near your house and lights dim. Next, we'd like to demonstrate the fireman's boot walking on an energized power line. Although the boot is made out of rubber, there's not enough protection against our primary voltage. Our gloves are tested before every use and kept in clean storage. This boot has holes in it and oil stains on it, making it very unsafe to wear on or near energized power lines. So basically in this demonstration, in the box right there we have dirt. We're going to energize that ground to 7,600 volts. We're going to walk with a fireman's boot on that ground, and we're going to show you how that thick rubber boot still has no protection. Trailer hot? Look at the arc that it draws. We can't leave that boot there or else it's going to trip our system. He has to pull it away to protect our equipment. Right now we don't have fuses in the line. With storm season upon us, homeowners want to think twice before they remove fallen tree limbs. Although wood is not a good conductor of electricity, a wet tree could shock or harm anyone who comes in contact with it. Again, notice that the linemen are wearing their gloves and sleeves and the insulated stick. So basically in this demonstration, we're going to put a tree in the dirt that's on that box. We don't want to put the tree on the ground for our safety, because if we put the tree on the ground and put it against our power line, we're in jeopardy of getting shocked or electrocuted ourselves. So we put it in the box for our safety. Trailer hot? So anytime you see a tree up against the wires, you might want to think twice about touching it. Call your local utility company. Again, notice the arc it draws. Notice your lights dimming every time a ground comes in contact with our energized power lines. If Glenn were to put a fuse up there and Pat kept putting that tree on that power line, your lights would go out. The fuse would trip. Next we have is aluminum ladder. The aluminum ladder is very conductive. Anyone who paints or does home improvement should look up before they go up. Placing a ladder on a hot conductor could result in a fatality. Again, 10 feet of clearance must be maintained near our primary wires. So basically in this demonstration, we're going to put the ladder on the ground in a box to protect us. He's going to put it on the ground and against our primary with 7,000 volts. The danger here is not the guy in the air. The danger is the guy on the ground with the ladder touching our primary. Because the ladder can be conducted with 7,000 volts, but once you touch it and it goes through your heart, to your feet to ground, you'll die. So it's very important to look up before you put the ladder near our wires. Trailer hot? Again, if you need to do something, clean your gutters, paint your house, and it's near your secondary, your service at your house, we offer a free service. We rubber up your service or we'll disconnect it for you. Call us before you go near it, please. Cable and telephone wires may become wrapped around our conductors in storms. These wires may look insulated, but they will not protect you from our primary voltages. Do not become a path to ground. Maintain a minimum of 10 feet of clearance near down wires. Notice the arc that is made when the cable wire comes in contact with 7,000 volts to a grounded fence. In this demonstration, what we're showing you is it's a cable TV wire, okay? We're wrapping that cable TV wire around our primary and it's dangling down. We're gonna touch it to a fence to show you what happens. Trailer hot? The cable TV wire is only insulated to protect the conductor inside, not a human. If that was wrapped around our primary and you touched it, you could become electrocuted. So the message here, any wires you see dangling from these poles, please don't go near them and call the utility company. Stay within 10 feet. Don't go within 10 feet, I'm sorry. The next demonstration we're going to show is how a wet fire hose will conduct electricity. Over 7,000 volts will travel down this hose to complete our circuit. While fighting fires, firemen should be aware of energized conductors and down wires for their safety. So basically, we have a fireman hose right here on the ground. We just cut a piece of it and put connectors on the end, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick it in our cutout up there and we're going to close it to complete our circuit. So in this demonstration, what you want to watch is your household light is right here and the light on our pole is right here. So as Glenn plugs these in, he's going to show you how a fire hose is going to complete our circuit. Now what does that mean to you? What that means to you is if you come upon an accident scene and a fireman is putting out a fire and he's 300 feet away and a power line comes down on the fire hose, if you go near it, that will conduct electricity just like a fence will, and you could become electrocuted. Trailer hot? Now we're going to use a hose to complete our circuit. Again, notice the street light and the light next to Glennon. See how the light is lit? Pat's right next to the light in your house. Next, I'd like to talk about generators. Due to the number of storms that may cause outages, more and more people are buying generators. Generators not hooked up correctly are very dangerous to linemen, firemen, and anyone else near down conductors. As you saw during the demonstration, a 120-volt generator can backfeed the lines over 7,000 volts. For the safety of linemen and the public, please turn off your main breaker when you're using a generator. So basically in this demonstration, we're going to show you how when you plug in your generator to an outlet, if you don't disconnect that main breaker, you're going to re-energize this line. Well, maybe it doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to us. Because you've got the 120-volt generator, not only is it going to light the light in your house, it's going to light our street light, and it's going to come up through our transformer and create 7,600 volts through your generator that you bought at Home Depot. So it's very important. Backfeeding with your generator, hit your main breaker so it does not come back into our line. Very important. Notice, just by turning on the generator, of course your house light is on, that's what you wanted. But look at our street light. You also turned on our street light. Pat has a tester that tests 7,000 volts. It's hot, 7,000 volts. So through your generator that you bought at Home Depot, you just energized our line to 7,000 volts. And when us as linemen come upon a scene, or a fireman or a police officer, the down wires are there, it was dead, you just energized it because you didn't disconnect your main breaker. So the message here, please disconnect your main breaker when backfeeding. Due to fatigue, drunk drivers, and cell phones, we have a large number of hit poles. If our wires end up on your car, we recommend you stay in your car until help arrives. If the car becomes a hazard due to fire or smoke or any unknown situations, you should exit the car by jumping and then staying away from the car, clear of the car. So in this demonstration, what we're going to show, we're going to energize that car with 7,600 volts. If you're in the car, you're not in danger, okay? You're in danger if you touch the ground and you touch the car. So if you're in the car, stay in the car. If it's engulfed in flames or smoke, you open the door and you jump out of the car and then you just take baby steps away, okay? If you have something in the car you need to get and you go back and you go to get it, say your pocketbook with $1,000 in it, you're dead, right? Take the pocketbook with you or the baby and jump clear of the car. Do not touch the car and the ground at the same time. You will become that path. Trailer hot? So right now, we're going to energize this car with 7,000 volts. We have the tires that acts as insulation and the insulated mats. Again, he's going to touch it with a rubber glove, a household glove, and a hot dog in there. Without that stick and gloves, Pat wouldn't be here right now. Very important. We like to end the show, again, to show you what happens in the real world. Most of our lines have breakers in them to minimize your outages for you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a breaker in the system, just like in your house. You have a circuit breaker in your panel box. If you overload one outlet, hopefully one of your 15 amp, 10 amp, 20 amp breakers trips. That's what we have out here also. He's going to put a fuse up there to isolate our system when a car hits a pole. Trailer hot? This is the same situation, but with a breaker. Boom, your lights went out. That's when you call us. Again, thank you very much. These guys aren't actors, they are linemen. Mr.